Good evening, I'm Karen Sullivan, publisher of Orenda Books, and this is Orenda Books at Bedtime. Tonight we're travelling to a sleepy town in the South Island of New Zealand, and we're going to be hearing from Vanda Simon, who'll be reading from her immense debut thriller, Overkill. Now this is the first in the Sam Shepard series. It has been shortlisted for the CWA New Blood John Creasy Dagger. It was also, as the rest of the series was, shortlisted for the Niall Marsh Award in her native New Zealand, and this is the first time this book has been published outside of New Zealand. Now, we have now published 3 books. There's Overkill, The Ringmaster, and Containment, but we would like to get you right back to the beginning so you can hear from Vanda and Overkill. Now, let me tell you what it's about. This introduces the Sam Shepard series, of course. So, when the body of a young mother is found washed up on the banks of the Mataura River, a small rural community is rocked by her tragic suicide. But all is not what it seems. Sam Shepard, sole charge police constable in Mataura, soon discovers the death was no suicide and has to face the realization that there's a killer in town. To complicate the situation, the murdered woman was the wife of her former lover. When Sam finds herself on the list of suspects and suspended from duty, she must cast aside her personal feelings and take matters into her own hands. She has to find the murderer and clear her name. This is a taut, atmospheric, page-turning thriller, and it marks the start of an unputdownable and unforgettable series from one of New Zealand's finest crime writers. We marketed this book as with a hashtag that prologue, and for good reason. I urge you to read the prologue as a sample if you want to taste it before you read, because you will continue to read on no matter what. I was given this book on submission by Craig Sisterson, who is of course from New Zealand and an expert in New Zealand literature, and I thought I'd give it a try on a train to Edinburgh, and I missed my stop and ended up considerably north of Edinburgh. It's a fabulous read, and Sam Shepard is a feisty, fearless, hilarious, and accident-prone, amazingly brilliant female protagonist. So we're going to go now to New Zealand and to Vanda.
Kia ora and Bulavanaka. I'm Vanda Simon, and hello from Dunedin, New Zealand. I'm going to be reading a short chapter from my novel Overkill. At first, the knocking at the door went unnoticed over the generalised thumping in my head. It finally registered through the murk on the second barrage. I could make out the sound of the shower running, presumably with Maggie in it, guessing that put me on door duties. In one swift movement, I heaved myself into an upright position and swung my legs over the side of the bed to wait for the inevitable head rush. Its ferocity did not disappoint. I breathed into my hands to test the air quality and wished I hadn't. If it was someone I didn't want to see, well, I could huff on them and send them packing. Either that or the sight of my Tweety Pie flannelette pyjamas would put them off. Why did I buy those again? By the time I made it to the door, the person was knocking again, insistent and impatient. I turned the handle and pulled, with no effect whatsoever, and then realised unlocking it would help. I got the door open, and about the same time as I opened my mouth to yawn, it dawned on me that the grey fuzzy thing in front of my face was not some mutant soft toy, but a microphone, and it came with a companion in the form of a television camera. Shit! Of course, all this equipment came with human accompaniments, too, one of whom I recognised from the news. Samantha Shepard? Huh? Rachel Longman, One News. Sources tell us that you've been suspended from your duties with the police while an investigation is undertaken into the death of Mataura woman Gabriella Knowles. Did you have any comments to make? I looked at the camera, looked at her, looked down at my pyjamas, looked at her again, and with one smooth movement, swung the door shut. Once I heard that blessed click, I leaned my head forwards against the cool wooden surface. Shit, shit, shit. Oh, I was good. Definite future and media liaisons there. Stupid as it seemed, the encounter had sent my heart rate through the roof and my head was not coping with the altitude. I swallowed back a surge of nausea and tried to think, surely there were rules about that sort of thing. My house was private property, so they were trespassing. Then again, I had opened the door. was definitely time to badger the landlord about getting that peephole put in. I'd only asked him twice already, and it could have proven very useful this morning. Bugger it all, what was I going to do? Another knock at the door. I thought it fairly obvious I didn't have any comment to make. These people were slow learners. I retreated back to my bedroom to hide from the noise and to resist the temptation to yell at them to bugger off. I didn't think that would do my media image any good. Not that my pyjamas and cutting repartee would. Jesus, imagine if they put that to air. Imagine if my mother saw it. My hands came up to my face as I slumped onto my bed and tried to push that idea back into my head. Was that someone at the door? Should I get it? Maggie called out from the direction of the bathroom. I leapt to my feet yelling, "No!" as I ran to intercept her. The panic in my voice stopped her in her tracks. Okay, don't need to tackle me. Calm down. Who was it? Shit, sorry, God. Oh, it was the media. The media? What media? I had to lean over, hands on my knees, and breathe deeply several times to avoid throwing up. The variety that comes with video cameras and microphones? Oh, she said. You didn't open the door, did you? Yes. Looking like that? Yes. Her expression said it all. Crap. Exactly. What the hell am I going to do? Well, what did you say to them? Maggie came around and rubbed my back. The gesture made me want to burst into tears, and it took considerable effort not to. Oh, it was something deeply profound, like, shit. And I think that was just before I slammed the door on them. I was impressive. Sounds it. And what were they wanting to know exactly? If I had any comment on being suspended from the investigation into Gabby's death, I didn't give them a chance to ask anything else. I was still stunned by being confronted by the media at all. It hadn't occurred to me that I might become the centre of attention. I'd like to know how the hell they found out about my apparent involvement in all this, and how did they get my address? I'm not even in the phone book. Small town, Sam. Everybody knows you. There'll be someone or ones out there who wouldn't be able to wait to dob in the local police officer. No matter how popular you think you are, there are those who get a kick out of blabbing. Getting their 5 minutes of fame makes them feel all important. Not a comforting thought, but she was right. And it was a more palatable prospect than the other possibility, that the information had come from the police itself. With one notable exception, I didn't seem to have too many friends there right now. Well, maybe they won't show it. I didn't have anything important to say. They might decide it's not worth it. It wasn't good television. Maggie gave a derisive laugh. Don't hold your breath, sunshine.
Thank you so much, Vanda. So once again, this is Overkill, first in the Sam Shepard series by Vanda Simon. And this has been an episode of Orenda Books at Bedtime. Thank you for listening.